It's kind of gotten almost old hat with you, where all of us on the draft set are saying, how did Howie Roseman wind up with this guy again? And Jihad Campbell is that guy for you. You moved up only one spot for him. But walk me through your identifying Jihad Campbell pre-draft and then what you were doing the night of the draft to get him, Howie.
Sure. Jihad Campbell, it doesn't take long to watch his tape and see him jump off. Explosive player. He can blitz from depth. He can play in space, cover in backs, tight ends, zone coverage. He came to Alabama as an edge rusher from IMG. So he's got that in his body to be able to play on the edge. And so the player's really easy, and I think for us, all along through the process, this was a top 10 player on our board. I think it's no secret by now. Some of the questions are more medical in nature for the reason that he fell to the spot kind of where we were. We rely on our doctors, and we had a lot of conversation on Jihad, and we think that over the near short term and the long term that he's going to be ready to go and play a lot of great football for us. So really excited to get him, and there's always reasons to why guys are available. But he is a heck of a player, South Jersey kid, which is special. He just has the right mentality, right skill set for what we were looking for. So just felt really fortunate that we were able to trade up and grab him.
Well, is it true that when the Chargers took their 22nd overall pick down to the last second that you were on the phone with your counterpart out here in Southern California to try to make a trade at 22 for this kid, Howie?
You have a lot of conversations during the draft with a lot of teams, and there's a lot of action when teams are on the clock. You're moving up, and so we had a lot of conversations with a lot of teams that were in front of us, finally able to execute a trade with the Chiefs and Brett Veach, and hopefully, it works out for both sides.
Well, I mean, so I appreciate that answer.
Thank you.
So, again, a healthy amount of paranoia doesn't hurt in this league. Does any part of you get a little concerned in a draft knowing that people know what type of player you like and you might not get the guy that you want because someone's going to jump the line knowing that you're going to take him? Howie, does that happen?
It's so easy to get humbled in the National Football League. And I think that at the end of the day, the draft is an inexact science. And so you just got to go in regards to what you think. It's hard to know what everyone else is thinking. This just made sense for our football team. What everyone else is thinking is doing what's best for their team, and have a lot of respect for what everyone else's thoughts are on the players they draft and, the players they pass over. But, there's no paranoia in that regard. I think at the end of the day, just felt like for us, for our team, this was the right player.
And was Jeffrey Lurie impressed by the mic stealing ability of Jihad Campbell on the stage from our Jamie Erdahl? Because, your owner likes to take the mic when he takes the trophy, too. Howie, that was impressive.
I gotta get a clip of that. I'm not thinking about that. I didn't know that he does that, but man, Jihad really stealing the show. He's got a lot of football in him, but I think one day he's going to be one of these guys that is taking the mic, and I don't know where you and I will be at that point, but hopefully way, way down the line.
Exactly. What'd you like about Makuba out of Texas to take him 64th overall? Howie, what'd you think of him?
Explosive player, Anytime you start a sentence with explosive, it's probably going to be a really good description of the player. He was at Clemson for 3 years. He was all ACC for his 3 years at Clemson. Was actually the ACC Defensive Player of the Year as a freshman Player of the Year. And then he transferred to Texas. He had played a lot of nickel at Clemson, so he had this coverage ability, which we're always looking for in our back-end players, to be able to come down, cover the slot, to have that versatility, to not only be able to play in the middle of the field, but to come down and cover slot receivers, gives Vic a lot of flexibility. And so he had that cover ability. He just plays like his hair is on fire. Everything about him is fast and physical, and he's got ball skills too. So for us, great character. It was just a really good fit for what we were looking for in the back end. Obviously, we've lost some players here in Philadelphia since the Super Bowl, and we weren't trying to draft for need, but when need hits the value of the player, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, you definitely lost a defensive tackle in free agency, and now you got Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. And this clearly, follows your philosophy of hitting the line. I mean, we've had Joe Banner on here multiple times, and he's, obviously sings your praises, Howie. So this is another one of those moments where you're just following the same plan over and over again, Howie?
And again, the value has to be right. We don't want to reach. For us, we didn't get to the offensive line until later in the draft because the value where we were picking has to hit it right. And Ty Robinson stuck out on our board. He was the highest rated player on our board. The guy can work edges. He's really strong with his hands. Great character. This guy was a captain in Nebraska. Matt Rule, former Temple coach, Philadelphia guy. You talk to him about Ty Robinson, and he tells you all the things that we're trying to represent here. So was really excited, and him and our center, Cam Jurgens, who just signed an extension, they had battles when Ty was a freshman. So, we got firsthand those one-on-one battles. Really excited to bring Ty to Philly. And like you said, we lost a defensive tackle in free agency, a really good player who's in the AFC now. And we just want to keep restocking those lines. Feel like we have some players here who played for us last year who will get a little bit more run of show, but to continue to have those guys coming in waves is really important for our football team.
The Philadelphia Eagles visited the White House on Monday to celebrate their Super Bowl win over the Kansas City Chiefs, marking their second championship. Hosted by President Donald Trump, the event was both a celebration and a reminder of past tensions between the team and Trump. While 54 team members attended, including owner Jeffrey Lurie and head coach Nick Sirianni, key players like Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith were notably absent. The White House cited a scheduling conflict for Hurts' absence, though his ambiguous response when questioned by reporters last week, simply saying, before staying silent, left room for speculation. Given the history between Trump and the Eagles, the decision to attend or abstain seemed more personal than logistical for many. During the ceremony, Trump praised the team's performance and highlighted specific moments and players from the season. He lauded the now iconic tush-push play, which helped power the Eagles' short yardage dominance, and jokingly admired running back Saquon Barkley as a handsome guy he wouldn't want to tackle. I was with the New York Giants head coach and some people, Trump said, drawing laughs from the crowd. And I said, do anything you have to, but don't lose Saquon. They lost Saquon. That was not good. I called that one. That was an easy one to call. Trump, who attended the Super Bowl in person, a rarity for a sitting president, also made a pointed reference to pop star Taylor Swift, who was there supporting her boyfriend, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. I was there along with Taylor Swift. How did that work out? How did that one work out? He quipped. The backdrop of this visit holds added significance. In 2018, the Eagles were abruptly disinvited from visiting the White House after winning their first Super Bowl. Trump canceled the event amid reports that only a small group of players planned to attend, leading to public criticism from then White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who accused the team of staging a political stunt. Fast forward to 2025, and the dynamics have shifted, if only slightly. Trump extended the invitation last month, and the team, through Lurie, expressed willingness to accept it. We just felt that this is a time-honored tradition, Lurie said at the NFL owners' meeting. There was no reticence whatsoever. To be celebrated at the White House is a good thing. There were special circumstances back then, in 2018, that were very different. Among those present were Barkley, offensive lineman Lane Johnson, safety Reed Blankenship, and Chief Security Officer Dom DeSandro, whom Trump also mentioned during his remarks. Barkley had traveled to Washington with Trump aboard Air Force One after playing golf with him the day before at Trump's New Jersey club. The running back later addressed criticism online, clarifying that he'd also golfed with former President Barack Obama and respected the office regardless of who held it. Maybe I just respect the office, not a hard concept to understand, Barkley posted on X. In the Trump era, sports celebrations at the White House have become politically charged. During his first term, several teams from leagues like the NBA and WNBA either declined invitations or were not invited at all. While Trump has resumed hosting sports teams during his second term, recently welcoming the NHL's Florida Panthers and MLB's Los Angeles Dodgers, such visits remain flashpoints for political debate. Notably, the Dodgers' visit was overshadowed by controversy after the Trump administration removed references to Jackie Robinson from a government diversity website, sparking public backlash. The page was later restored, but the episode reinforced how even ceremonial events can become symbols in larger cultural battles. Historians and cultural critics note that today's political climate has made it increasingly difficult for athletes to separate their presence from perceived political endorsement. I just think the politics of today are so polarized that whatever you do, you're going to be perceived to be supporting a political platform or a position, said historian Frank Garrett earlier this year. The Eagles are just the second NFL team to visit the White House under Trump, following the 2017 New England Patriots. And while Monday's visit offered a celebratory moment for a championship well-earned, it also reflected the nuanced reality facing athletes in a politically divided America. Monday's ceremony at the White House was a celebration of athletic excellence and team achievement, but also a mirror reflecting the complexities of modern American sports and politics. For the Eagles, it was a chance to honor their Super Bowl journey. For many players, it was also a reminder that every decision, even attending a championship event, carries weight far beyond the field. The 2025 NFL Draft may be over, but for the Philadelphia Eagles, the real work is just beginning. While fans were buzzing over the franchise's top picks, including standout cornerback Quinyon Mitchell, the Eagles' front office wasted no time scouring the undrafted ranks for hidden gems. And if the early signings are any indication, General Manager Howie Roseman and his team may have struck gold once again. As the confetti from the draft settles, all eyes are on the new wave of talent. Undrafted free agents who didn't hear their names called during the 7-round marathon, but now have an opportunity to make their mark in midnight green. Among the notable signings are Texas safety Andrew Mekuba and Toledo safety Maxon Hook, two players who bring versatility, toughness, and hunger to a defense looking to reload. At the top of the Eagles' undrafted class sits Andrew Mekuba, a highly regarded safety out of Texas. Once projected to go in the mid-rounds, Mekuba's fall came as a surprise to many analysts. He's known for his range, aggressive tackling, and natural instincts in the secondary, traits that align perfectly with Philadelphia's defensive identity. Mekuba isn't just an athlete, he's a playmaker. In his final season with the Longhorns, he tallied 71 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 8 passes defensed. Scouts praised his ability to cover ground quickly and his tenacity near the line of scrimmage. Despite some concerns over his size, he measures 5 feet 11 inches and weighs 190 pounds. His upside is undeniable. The Eagles see Mekuba as more than just a special teams contributor. With the departure of veteran safety Kevin Byard earlier this offseason and the need for depth behind Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown, Mekuba could find himself fighting for a key rotational role sooner than later. Andrew plays with a chip on his shoulder, said Eagles defensive backs coach D.K. McDonald. He's fearless, fast, and incredibly smart. That's the kind of guy you want on your side when the game is on the line. Another exciting addition is Maxon Hook, a hard-hitting safety from Toledo who is reuniting with his former teammate and now fellow Eagle Quinyon Mitchell. Hook, who recorded 85 tackles and 2 forced fumbles in 2024, brings a physical edge and strong leadership presence to the locker room. At 6 feet 1 inch, 205 pounds, Hook plays with a downhill, aggressive style. His ability to diagnose plays quickly and deliver clean but punishing hits makes him a natural fit for the Eagles' aggressive scheme. Coaches believe his instincts and football IQ could make him a standout on special teams right away. The chemistry between Hook and Mitchell could also pay early dividends. The two formed a dynamic duo in Toledo's secondary, frequently disrupting passing games and intimidating receivers over the middle. Bringing that familiarity into the NFL could ease their transition and amplify their impact. Having Max in here with me just feels right, Mitchell shared during rookie minicamp. We know each other's tendencies. We've already communicated at a high level, and that's going to help us both hit the ground running. This isn't the first time the Eagles have turned to the undrafted market to find contributors. In recent years, players like TJ Edwards, Nate Herbig, and Josh Jobe carved out meaningful roles despite not being selected in the draft. It's a testament to the team's strong scouting department and their belief in player development. Howie Roseman has long emphasized that the draft doesn't end when the last pick is made. "We always say the 8th round starts the second the draft ends," Roseman told reporters after day 3. "These guys are hungry, they're overlooked, and sometimes they're the most driven players in the building." The front office's aggressive approach to post-draft signings has turned into a competitive advantage. With strong coaching and a supportive development system, the Eagles give undrafted players a real shot at making the 53-man roster. The next few months will be critical for Mukuba, Hook, and the rest of the undrafted class. They'll face an uphill battle in training camp, where competition will be fierce and every snap matters. But if there's one thing these players have in common, it's resilience. They've already overcome the disappointment of draft day. Now, with a clean slate and a fresh jersey, they have a chance to write their own NFL story. While draft day headlines often go to first-round picks, the true heart of a football team is built in the margins, through players who claw their way onto the roster and prove their worth every day. With the signings of Andrew Mukuba and Maxon Hook, the Philadelphia Eagles aren't just adding depth, they're fueling a culture of competition, grit, and opportunity. And as history has shown, sometimes the players you don't draft are the ones who end up making the biggest impact.